I was just thinking, this has been one of the biggest positive impacts that I've implemented into my life.
What's going on, guys? Brodie Kern here, founder of Wake Up Wealthy, and I'm sitting here with Justin Caballero, founder and CEO of Social X Events, and a couple other really big ventures. And I'm super excited to film this case study in this interview because Justin was one of my very first clients. He's someone who was super coachable, has experienced a ton of growth in his time with us. Justin, how are you?
Doing good, man.
Dude, so we're down here at the Social X office. It's amazing. So, I really want to, for the people watching this, I want to share a little bit about your story. I want to get into where you were at during Wake Up Wealthy, where we met, and due to all the shit that's happened since then. It's been a great experience.
Yeah, it has been.
So, let's start with this. So Justin and I met at an event that I was speaking at in New York, and we really hit it off there and started to build a relationship. And whenever I decided that I wanted to build a coaching company, Justin was one of the first guys that I had called. And, he jumped right on. He was ready to go. But I want to talk about, what was going on in your life at that time. What were you doing for work? What did your, mind, body, spirit look like? And what kind of inspired you to jump into the program?
Yeah, for sure. So at the time, I was working full-time on building Total Property Solutions, real estate renovation business. And we're growing very fast, really just focused on the business. Was not very focused on building good relationships in my life. Health was definitely slacking. Mentally wasn't very strong. Pretty much everything was just being poured into the business, and it was pretty draining. Didn't really have very many entrepreneurial friends, and pretty much my entire life revolved around growing Total Property Solutions. So, when I got the opportunity to join Wake Up Wealthy, immediately hit it off with Brodie, and it's probably your easiest sale ever. Yeah, totally. I was like, yeah, I want this, I need this. But I think really why I initially joined was for the brotherhood and entrepreneurial community, but I got so much more out of it than just great relationships with other ambitious, driven young men. I really had a lot of self-transformation myself. Started meditating. I would say that was a huge takeaway that I never did until you kind of taught me how important that was, and it has been amazing. I was actually, I meditated like an hour ago on my lunch break, and I was just thinking, this has been one of the biggest positive impacts that I've implemented into my life. It was like, I was just thinking, if I don't work out, meditate, and like read my morning mind right, which like my gratitudes and everything, like my day is just a fraction of what it should be. And I don't show up as powerfully. And I want to be able to deal with the stress of running multiple businesses, plus all the other crap that life just throws at you randomly. I want to be able to successfully navigate the waters.
Multiple girlfriends as well?
I guess that would be in the personal crap. Yeah. So, life just throws you those curveballs, plus you're dealing with business. That's always a roller coaster. So learning that was big for me. And then just kind of creating some of the self-mastery habits and mental transformations that Wake Up Wealthy brings you through has been huge for me.
Yeah, and looking back at it, because we developed together. Yeah. We were developing in all of this, but the thing that I knew just from my experiences early on were that your business is an extension of your mind, body, spirit. And I think that was the biggest thing that we implemented with you, that you really took and ran with. And you were coachable throughout the entire process. And so it was really exciting to watch you grow. And so the thing that I want to dive into first is one of the first exercises that we did with you, which was called the Big Why exercise, and was where we really dive into your core motivators and your core mission in life. And it was a really emotional experience for you and I to go through together. And so, I want you to share a little bit with me, about what you remember about that process, and some of the things that we talked about, that we brought up, and like why it was so powerful for you.
Yeah, for sure. So, that was the first time I'd ever done an exercise like the Big Why. I don't think you naturally think about like, what is my why? It's kind of one of those deeper work exercises that it's good to have a coach walk you through and kind of probe. And we kind of walked through basically like just my life and different big events, and what was significant about those events for me. It's a very emotional process because usually when you think back on one specific time. Like, I remember playing basketball, or I remember when this happened when I was a child, but you don't think about it all together. And you can start to see different patterns, and like, oh, this happened because of this happened, and this is maybe why I act like this or whatever. So that was, very powerful. By the end of it, I realized that I'm just, growth is a huge factor for my happiness and my fulfillment. So, if I can become the best version of myself, then I can show up powerfully in my business and my personal relationships and my family life. And I can lead and achieve and execute at the levels that I want to in all of those areas of life. So my why I took away from it after going through that exercise and a few days of reflection and thinking on it was, I just want to, if I become the best version of myself, my why is to become the best version of myself so I can have the biggest positive impact on the lives of others while I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's also talk about the transition from Total Property Solutions into starting Social X and finding new ventures. You had reached a point where you were doing a lot of work over there. Business was very successful, but you weren't getting the fulfillment that you wanted out of it. You were happy with the business goals, right? And you had started to gain some serious momentum on the personal side. And as well as I do, gaining momentum on the personal side brings new clarity and new thoughts about what you want from your life. And so that's what we started to see with you. And so what was it that inspired you to, one, transition out of there, and two, start Social X?
Yeah, for sure. So I will never forget this moment, I don't think ever. So it was Thanksgiving night, well, I guess it was a year and a half ago.
Would have been...
About, not even a year and a half ago.
Would have been 2018.
Yeah. So November 2018, on Thanksgiving night, I sat down, did exercise in your program called the 5 Wishes Worksheet. And essentially it says, like, if you die today, what are 5 things that you would regret? So I wrote down a few things, one of them being, I wish I would follow all my passion projects. And for me, I didn't really understand what that meant at the time, but I went back and looked at my why. I wrote out a little autobiography, and I realized that I just have a real passion for bringing people together and personal development and growing businesses. So I was like, all right, how can I incorporate all these things to achieve my why, for me to become the best version of myself and make a positive impact on others? So that's when I created Social X, which we started throwing our first event in Tampa, which you spoke at, first speaker, and that was a big success, a lot of fun, a lot of great networking and business opportunities, and growth came from that. We rolled that into a Social X Business Accelerator, which essentially helps startups grow their businesses, and a mastermind for different networking. So it's been awesome. So that we started that, had that kind of revelation, thanks, end of November, started Social X in January after thinking about it. The thought wasn't going away, kept reoccurring. I was like, all right, I got to take action on this. Formed the company basically Jan 1, 2019. And the more I worked on Social X, the more I wanted to keep working on Social X, and the less I wanted to work on Total Property Solutions. So about 6 months ago, full-time Social X, and pretty much stopped working with Total Property Solutions.
Yeah, and so, dude, it's so special for me to be able to come down here to your office, exchange business with you guys, have you, in turn come and help us with our business and our systems. It is an incredible experience to watch how that blossoms, because, we all go through tough parts in our business, and sometimes you wonder, like, you get off the track of like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And coming down to, here to the Social X office, it started with some worksheet that I had found and made and given to you guys, not even realizing the impact that it could have, because why don't you share a little bit right now with the listeners about the mission that Social X is on over the next 10 years.
Yeah, for sure. So the mission of Social X is to reform business and entrepreneurial education. Our big, hairy, audacious goal, 10-year goal, is to empower 1 million entrepreneurs, and we're quantifying that by opting in for any of our free resources, coming to any of our events, workshops, mastermind, any social accelerator product or service. So, we just want to be able to empower people like you, people, nonprofits, business owners of all different industries that then can go out and help other people. So that's kind of how we're going to have our ripple effect. And really, we want to do that because I feel like it's the entrepreneurial education system, the business education system is not up to par. So I'm essentially creating what I wish I had when I knew I wanted to start a business at 16 years old, all the way up to 23, 24. And I keep getting better as a businessman and as an entrepreneur. So the program keeps getting better. We're sourcing the best 7, 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs and mentors to come help us improve the curriculum, network, give us advice, be our mentors. So it's been really incredible.
Yeah, man. And for me, I always said that if I adopted the belief that I could really make a difference by helping one guy who helps one guy who helps one guy who helps one guy, and their families go out and help another family. And when you look at, one coaching client like yourself going out with this huge mission and the audacity to go out and say, hey, I'm going to try to empower 1 million entrepreneurs over the course of a decade, watching the effect that goes on from that. It's insane.
Yeah, that's the exact type of mentality that I've gotten, and you have that same exact mentality. By you helping me help other people, your legacy and your impact grows tremendously as well.
Right. And what I love about Wake Up Wealthy so much is that we all get to, help each other grow. We get to hold each other accountable. We get to, really become a part of each other's legacies. I am as much part of yours as you are of mine. And for me, that's important because it creates that connection. You and I have built a relationship here that not only is wildly profitable in a number of different ways, but that if anything got dark, if anything got bad, I'm always a call away.
For sure.
And I know the same thing about you.
Yeah.
And it's something that is truly special there. So, tell me a little bit too about some of the connections that you've made in Social X. I also want to talk about, you look at your executive staff right now, right? It's 4 members, and 3 of these members have come through the Wake Up Wealthy Brotherhood. How important is that for you? Did that create any level of trust in hiring these guys, knowing that they've been through this curriculum?
Yeah, I would say for sure. It's also just having that growth mindset. If you're connecting with somebody in a program like Wake Up Wealthy, that level of individual is probably pretty high. They're growth oriented. They want to be a better man, and they've also had good coaching and good values instilled that they live by. The self-mastery principles, the Wake Up Wealthy way of living, and that's extremely important. When you talk about building out an executive team, what do you look for? Talent, hard work, dedication, respecting each other, and integrity. And I think that's a lot of what Wake Up Wealthy stands for as well. So that's how I want to build out my team of driven individuals to go out and make the biggest positive impact.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And so, in closing, right, what would you say to the young male entrepreneur out there who maybe they're struggling to make money, maybe they are making money, but they know that the other areas of life are struggling? What would you say to that person who is coming in contact with some of our content and they don't know what the Brotherhood is, they don't know what it means to be a part of something like that? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I think it may sound a little cliche, but the best investment you can possibly make is in yourself. I've gotten an insane ROI from this. I've started 2 new businesses that are very profitable. My life is way more fulfilled in my relationships and my personal life, and my relationship with myself. which is, you can't put a price tag on that.
Yep.
And, you know, you truly do get out what you put in. So I went in there, I was coachable, I wanted to learn, I wanted to grow and get better. And I went in for one reason, and I got 10, 12 other benefits that I didn't even realize I was going to necessarily get, which is pretty incredible. And, you know, that's just invaluable. That's just something that it's truly has transformed me into a better businessman, a better friend, better in just so many different facets of my life. And you can't put a price tag on that. Like I would pay you 100x what I paid. So I would say, you know, take the leap of faith, invest in yourself, and, you know, let me be a case study and example for what could come on the other side of something like Wake Up Wealthy.
Dude, it's been an honor.
Absolutely,
to
brother.
Be your friend.
Yep.
Be in business
Likewise.
together, man.
For sure.
I'm so excited to see what the next 10-year holds for each.
We got a lot of good stuff to do, man.
Well, yeah, and I know that you know, you and I are both going to be there for each other's part in that. And so I know that 10 years from now,
we got a lot of building to do.
A lot of building to do.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, dude. I'm ready to come back in a few years and see you officed out of a high rise in downtown Tampa.
It's gonna happen.
I know it is. So guys, thanks for checking out this video, and we're happy to see you.